Welcome to the Plant Trainers Podcast, where we're helping people improve their quality of life through nutrition and fitness. And now, your hosts, nutrition and wellness coaches, international speakers, Adam and Shoshana Chaim.
Hey, I'm Adam Chaim.
And I'm Shoshana Chaim, and we are
Propelled by Plants. Today we bring to you episode 348, How to Boost Your Immunity Against Viruses.
In this episode of the Plant Trainers Podcast, we're going to talk about those 6 ways to boost your immune system and do your best to keep germs as far away as possible. We cover a bit about what the immune system is, foods to eat, ideas to consider, and thoughts to think while you're trying to keep your immune system strong, carry on, and not deplete your kleenex stores too much.
In times like these where everybody's getting a little anxious about their health and the health of the community, it's really important to pay attention to the kind of things that you could do to help prevent viruses from spreading and ways to take care of yourself. And we're going to share some of those things today. So be well, take care of yourself, and share this out with people so that they could get this great information. And now for a moment of gratitude.
I'm grateful to have learned that it is good to find positive in every situation, not necessarily every negative situation, but every situation, period. And given the times that we're in right now, how we're practicing social responsibility and social isolation as a family, I'm happy that we get to spend more time together, how the kids are helping out in the kitchen more, how we're going for walks and what have you. So there is some good in being alone at home as a family.
I'm grateful for that as well, just to be able to spend time as a family. And you just got to find things to be grateful for so that you cannot look at the negatives, like you just said, so much, and find some positives in this time.
The media is exploding, social media is exploding, people seem to be exploding, and all they are talking about is how to stay safe, how to prevent viruses from invading their body, and how to boost their immune system right now. So of course, we are giving you, our amazing listeners, our amazing followers on Instagram and all of that, the opportunity to possibly learn a little bit more about boosting your immune system today, maybe rehearing things you already know, but you haven't thought about, or that you're not necessarily doing now. You need those little reminders, and giving you a platform to share really great information with other people so that we stay as healthy as possible through all different types of viruses that are going on now, but a lot of it is just really good practice moving forward in our lives and reminders on how to keep yourself as bulletproof as possible. Nothing is a bulletproof, nothing is 100%, but we all know that when you take lifestyle choices that help your system, it puts you at less risk.
Yeah, there's a lot of concern around the world right now. There's a lot of people that are very scared, and rightfully so, and we need to take measures to really take care of ourselves. And by doing that, by following some steps that we should be doing regularly, not just at times like these, we're going to be better able to help ourselves stay healthier for longer. So we just thought we'd put together a show today to talk about different ways that you could boost your immunity to help your immune system fight off other viruses or bacteria or different illnesses that could come your way, because being sick's no fun, and it's not the type of lifestyle that any of us want to be living. So we need to be more mindful and take care by doing certain things.
And there are people who are at greater risk, right? The elderly community is at greater risk for any kind of disease or germs. People who are already sick, people who are overweight, people who have another cold already, people who work within the systems where they're around sick people and more germs and bugs and all of that more often, those people are at greater risk. So it is important to do a lot of the practices that we're about to talk about.
So let's take those steps. Let's bring them through what we've got, because we might as well share it out, right?
Right. And I think that it's important that people understand that the immune system is really, it's very elaborate, and there's a lot going on within our body. And when you have a good working immune system, it's going to send up red flags often when things are putting threat on your body. And inflammation is one of those ways where your body is sending a signal to your brain that you need help. So I think it's important that you recognize that small amount of inflammation is important. So if you cut your finger and it gets a little bit inflamed, that's not something to worry about. But when the inflammation gets bigger and bigger and won't go away and changes colors and all that, that's when you have something more to worry about. And that's the way it's working more or less within our whole system. So when we could build our immune system, we can send the right healing mechanisms to protect us, to fight. But when we are putting too much stress on the immune system, or the immune system is not strong enough, that's when we kind of get into trouble.
And so let's talk about ways that we could reduce inflammation, the bad kind, the types that we don't really want, and let ourselves recover a little bit quicker in everyday life so we stay healthier long term.
So the first thing we want to talk about, our number one thing, is of course nutrition, right? And I think a lot of people don't realize that the foods that we put in our body really play a huge part on our immune system. And when we're eating good, healthy foods, we're giving our body nutrients that it utilizes in other ways to help protect the body. But when we're putting foods in that are very saturated in fats, that are extremely processed, that are animal products that contain other hormones or toxins or what have you, we're putting more stress on the body. So the body has to deal with more. It has to detoxify more. It has to protect against more. And then we're taking away from the opportunity to protect against some of these viruses that are going on now. So if you're not already eating foods that are as clean as possible, not processed as possible, now's the time to make that switch, whether that means switching to a whole food plant-based diet, or limiting the amount of animal products that you're already eating, or even this is a great opportunity for those of you who believe in a plant-based diet but haven't been able to give up that dairy yet. This is the perfect time to say, you know what? I need to protect myself as much as possible. It's time to let go of that little bit of processed foods now.
And we're right in the middle of the month of March, which is Nutrition Month. But you wouldn't know it because the media has been overwhelmed with the virus that's going on right now. So all the more reason for us to be promoting nutrition and proper nutrition and good food going into our body, good clean food, hopefully whole food, plant-based food coming into your body, and being able to just fuel yourself in a positive way is going to have so many positive impacts on all types of performance that you have in your life. And what we want you to do is, if you're someone who doesn't eat a lot of veggies right now, just increase that amount. Try to find a veggie, a fruit that you could incorporate that you don't often consume. Russ loves broccoli. And if you're not a broccoli lover, that's okay. But just know that broccoli is one of the healthiest vegetables you could consume. It's got tons of vitamins and minerals. The best way to consume it is always raw. But if you want to steam it lightly, that's cool too. And it's just such a great veggie to add in if it's not one that you're already using, and it's a superfood.
It is a superfood. And some of the other superfoods that are not going to cost you an arm and a leg right now are garlic and onions and ginger and turmeric and cauliflower, almost anything green that's not green from food dyes, that's green because it grew out of the ground that way. That's what you want to start putting into your diet. If you're somebody who's eating a lot of white flour, then now's the time to fix it and start eating not just whole wheat, but whole grain, right? Whole wheat means that like it looks a little bit darker, but it's still really milled down. It's still processed down. You want to try to choose the breads that are sprouted grain or whole grain so that you're getting a lot more nutrients in there as well. Concentrate on vegetables first, then fruits, then legumes, then grains, nuts, and seeds. I think that if you try to go as vegetable and fruit heavy as possible right now, you're going to be giving yourself more hydration, you're going to be giving yourself more micronutrients, and that's really what your body needs.
You mentioned ginger, and I just think that we should emphasize the fact that ginger is so anti-inflammatory and will speed up recovery from everything. So whether it's physical or mental or illness, ginger, using raw ginger preferably, is such a great food to add to your routine.
Definitely. And it's going to reduce inflammation. And for those of you that have inflammation starting because of little colds or something like that, then it's going to give your body the best opportunity to heal and recover as quickly as possible. Now, I mentioned water and actually I mentioned hydration. And what I want to say is make sure that you're hydrating as much as possible. You want to drink about half of your body weight of water in ounces. So if you weigh 120 pounds, you want to try to drink 60 ounces of water a day. You could do the calculations for wherever you live in the world. If you're exercising, you want it to be a little bit more. Now, if you're used to drinking 4 ounces of water a day, telling you to drink 60, you're probably going like, holy monkey, Shoshana, how am I supposed to do that? I don't expect you to do that, but say, okay, if I drink 4, how can I drink 8? Or how can I drink 12? So have a big glass of water in the morning before you do anything else. Have a big glass of water before lunch. Have a big glass of water before dinner. And there you go. You've already hopefully increased it. And just work from there. Measure out your water bottles. Fill up your water bottles and make sure that you empty them out every single day.
The high fiber content in your fruits and vegetables is going to help you stay regular, and the increased amount of water is also going to help you stay regular. And you may have to go to the bathroom more often, but that's a healthy thing. You're getting rid of anything that your body doesn't need, and letting that water come out through your urine is a smart way to go, and stay hydrated because it's going to keep you more energetic as well.
So if you're somebody who's saying, I'm sure I'm not getting enough nutrients that I need to be getting, and you want to start taking a multivitamin or a multi-food supplement, reach out to us. We have some good suggestions on what it is that you can use in terms of the nutritional value of what you're getting, but also making sure that what you're getting is really good quality. Not all supplements are made equal. And if for those of you who are like, okay, you know what, been listening to the Plant Trainers podcast long enough, it is time to go 100% plant-based, but I'm a little bit overwhelmed, especially since I'm overwhelmed already with what's going on in society. You could check out our planttrainers.com/shop. There's a 28 plant-powered party there that will take you through all of the steps and give you some access to us as well.
Even better than that, I think you should just email Shoshana at planttrainers.com, and we'll get on the phone with you and just talk you through it for a bit.
Yeah, how about this? 30-minute free consultation for anybody who is ready to make a life change, worried about what's going on out there. We're at home, so we're available. We have other appointments scheduled, but we will make time for you. Okay. All right, what is number 2?
Number 2 is sleep, and that's something that's often overlooked because it's something that people just think they just go through the motions. They go to bed, they wake up, they go to bed, they wake up, but they don't realize the importance and the value of good quality sleep. Not necessarily quantity, but how deep of a sleep you could get into, and how sleep is really when your body takes the time to recover. So the rest is so important. And if you're not getting yourself to sleep properly, you're not going to allow your body to develop a stronger immune system. You're not going to allow your body to recover from the training that you're doing or from all the intensive work you're doing all day long.
Right. And the other important thing about sleep is that's the time for the hormones to secrete and to go into the blood system and really make sure that everything is working properly. And if you're not doing that, you're putting more stress on the body, which I said before takes away from the opportunity to really fight against anything that might be threatening the body. So, you need your cells to regenerate. You need your hormones to function properly. So what I suggest is trying, especially now for those of you who are not on as strict of a work schedule, trying to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night, and trying to keep that sleep as much as possible between the hours of 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Those are the hours where you're going to start to sleep the most, get yourself into the best rhythm. And talking about rhythm, a lot of us are sleeping in more because you might be working from home and what have you, but trying to stay on the same sleep schedule that you have normally. So going to bed, getting into bed at 10, falling asleep by 10:30, 11, staying off your phone before bed, and still getting up at 6, 7, 8 a.m. instead of sleeping till noon is going to help your body stay in a really good circadian rhythm.
Yeah, so sleep, number 2, very important. Okay, let's get into the third one, which is keeping up with good Hygiene.
Yeah, be smart. Make good, smart decisions. You know, it's funny because our daughter went to go wash her hands yesterday and she started singing the alphabet. So I guess at school they had reminded her of those things that you teach in kindergarten, you know, to wash your hands for 20 to 30 seconds using warm water, making sure you could see the soapy bubbles, right? Like those are the things that sometimes we don't necessarily do. We kind of put the soap on, rub, and
really quick,
do it quick. But now's the time to get back into washing your hands properly. Don't take risks that are unnecessary that you don't have to. For example, the movie theaters may still be open. Don't go to them. If you're sick at any time, and if you're listening to this in any year at any time, if you're sick, don't expose other people to your sickness. And it also means that your immune system's lower, so you have a better chance of getting something else. So don't go into high-risk situations that you don't need to. Don't touch things that you don't have to this time of year. And definitely don't touch your face. Don't touch your nose. Don't touch your ear.
It's hard not to.
I saw a meme, and there's so many memes going around, and they're funny and they're not, and we'll talk about that more later, but it was a picture of a person with a dog on a leash, and the person was wearing the dog cone, and it was the dog saying, remember not to touch your face, right? But the truth is that our open orifices is where germs are more likely to get in from, so you don't want to expose yourself more than you have to.
So you mentioned washing hands, and if you saw our Instagram, we posted that if you don't remember the last time you washed your hands, maybe now's a good time to go do it.
It is. However, what I want to point out is don't overwash to the point where you're getting all these cuts all over your hands because...
Yeah, same with the Purell or the antibacterial stuff there.
Right.
With the alcohol cracks your hands open and makes you more susceptible.
Exactly. You're giving all the germs another area straight into the bloodstream, which you definitely do not want. There are definitely more natural ways of disinfecting. Some people use some really high quality essential oils. We use our Renew 28 Redox. When I go grocery shopping, rub with it before I go in the middle of being in, and when I'm done. Not obsessively, but those 3 times is definitely helpful. And I think what's also really important is, if you're on the video, you could see Adam's coughing into his elbow and then, going home and burning your clothes. But not funny. But in reality, if you're going to hold a tissue and hold the tissue to your nose, you kind of want your hands to be clean first and then you want to clean them again after. But using your sleeve and making sure that as little particles are floating around as possible, especially if you're out in public or you're living with other people, you want to keep your germs to yourself.
I think we should talk a little bit about the face masks that people are wearing because it seems to be something that North Americans are not used to. It happens in other parts of the world more often, but now we walk around, we see people wearing face masks, we start to panic. So what can you say about that?
Okay, so a few things. Having lived in Hong Kong, Adam and I lived overseas, so it's something that I think we're a little bit more used to because it's a little bit more cultural out there. Somebody has a little bit of a cold, they wear a face mask. It's normal. We also lived there at the time of bird flu, so there's a little bit more high alertness going on. So a few things. Number one, just because somebody's wearing a mask, don't assume that they've got some kind of crazy illness. They might be protecting themselves. They might be protecting you. They might be somebody who experiences a little bit higher than normal anxiety in situations like this, and it might just be a precaution for them. And if they do experience more anxiety, they shouldn't be the butt of your jokes. You shouldn't be pointing them out. You shouldn't be, making a spectacle of it. Everybody's got their issues. And when it comes to mental health, this is a time when people are really, really triggered. But in terms of the masks, so the surgical masks, which are the ones that like you see on the doctors on TV, right, in those shows, they have holes on the side. So really, you can still get airborne things going through coming out from the sides. But it does act like a bit of a blocker, a bit of a barrier. But you'll notice that on the doctor shows, that's what they're wearing. They're trying to keep their germs, their breath from going onto the patients when the patients are cut open. They're not necessarily trying to keep whatever that patient has from spreading it to them. So that's how that mask works. Then there's the other mask that's more like the N95 type masks, which fit over the face and there's no room for air to come through, and you have to pinch the little metal thing at the top to make sure that no air is coming from the top. Those are really protected masks. So when I go outside and clean the raccoon poop from the backyard, that's what I'm wearing so that I don't inhale anything in. So if you are infected or think you're infected or extremely high risk, those are the types of masks that people should be using. However, I'm going to say you need to consult with your healthcare practitioner or your country's or province or whatever healthcare system is in place for where you live. You need to be talking to them about what kind of mask to wear if you're going out and if you should be going out at all. But those are what the masks are for. And there are a lot of people who are just used to using it for the smallest little cold, the smallest little sniffle. So don't necessarily think that you are in danger just because somebody is wearing a mask.
And those masks are stressing people out right now and causing some anxiety, which brings us to our fourth one, which is bringing stress levels down. So what could people be doing to reduce their stress in a time where there's stress everywhere and it's such an uncommon thing that we're going through now? People don't know how to manage it. So what can they do?
So the number one thing that I've done in my life to deal with stress overall, given my mental health situations, is not play the news 24 hours a day. So we've actually had the news on a little bit more in our house than we're used to because we're used to zero. And we've had it on about 3 times in the last few days. But we're just checking in. We're getting a bit of the information, finding out what's happening in different areas of the world, and turning it off and going back to life. So, people will say, well, how are you going to know if something changes? Well, trust me, you either don't need to know. What you do need to know, somebody will call you, you're having a conversation with somebody, or you'll see it on social media, right? And if you do need to find something out, you can go and look it up yourself, but having it playing 24 hours a day is not going to help you. It's not going to help your family. It's not going to help your stress levels. So definitely keep it down. But having said that, social media is something that maybe you need to be staying off of for a little bit now too, because everybody's got funny things going on or not funny things going on. They're worrying, pictures of people with too much toilet paper. It's just a reminder of it all day long. And one of the last posts at the time of we're recording this, which is only 2 days before it's coming out, that I have put up was a picture of me exercising saying, stop reading the same things over and over again. Go exercise. You're going to feel better.
And that's because exercise really helps reduce stress and it helps boost your immune system and it puts you in a better mood. So if you're not someone who regularly exercises, now's a great time to start, especially if you're someone who has to stay home. There's so many great exercises that you could be doing at home with no equipment that's going to help boost your immune system and put you in a better mood overall, which is going to end up leading to better health overall.
Yeah, and you're going to be helping your blood cells do what they need to do, help your healing mechanisms do what it needs to do. And there is some research that says that the rise in body temperature during and after that exercise can help fight off bacteria, help it from growing, help fight infection better. So that's one thing. And then you're going to exercise, you're going to sleep better. You're going to sleep better. Your hormones are going to work better. And you're going to make better choices when you wake up in the morning because you're going to feel better, more rested. You're going to eat better. And there we go. We're feeding back into everything else
so
as well.
I want to take a few minutes for our number 5 because this is an important one that not everybody understands, but it's understanding the role of redox signaling molecules in the body as a line of defense and how that it can help us to protect ourselves in the future. So moving forward.
Yes. So basically, redox signaling molecules are part of the body's natural healing system. We have our cells, we have our mitochondria. In our mitochondria, that's the little factory that creates our ATP, our energy system, what have you. And we're creating redox signaling molecules as well. Our cells are filled with salt water, and that salt water is creating all of that. Now, these redox signaling molecules do exactly that. They signal. So when you have an invader on your skin saying, I'm going to come in and take over and give you a virus, or you have a little cut, or you have a bruise, that signaling is what tells the brain to send that healing system that then detects, protects, repairs, and replaces our cells. We are born, healthy children are born with a lot of redox molecules. After every 10 years, we're producing 10% less. That's a natural aging process. But we have diseases that are plaguing us. We have more radiation than we're used to, especially with our cell phones. We have car accidents, we have stress, we have endurance sports. Our body's under more pressure and stress than we're used to, and our cells are oxidating at a much more rapid pace. If we're not eating well, we're putting even more strain on our body. So these redox molecules that are meant to protect our body from everything out there and viruses are not necessarily available to do the job that it's supposed to do. So if we're depleted in it, naturally, we understand that we should supplement with it. And if you heard back on the Plant Trainers podcast where we interviewed Dr. Zelia Goreshnik, she talked about redox molecules in full detail about how it can affect many diseases that we have. Well, it will help protect the immune system so that the immune system could do what it needs to do in terms of virus as well. So right now, understanding redox molecules, if you are somebody who is out there still working, still amongst people, have a immune system that is compromised, it is a really good time to start thinking about raising your redox within your body and supplementing with it. And again, going back to that 30 minutes that we said we would give you, email us at Shoshana or info@planttrainers.com, and I'll make some time to talk to you a little bit more about that.
Which brings us to number 6, which is if you are sick or you're feeling under the weather, you really need to start to take care of yourself. And it doesn't mean you need to panic because of what's going on in the media right now. You don't have to run to the emergency room just because you have some symptoms of a cold or the flu. Take a deep breath, relax, let's figure things out. Call your public health to get some direction if you're really worried about it. But the possibility of it just being a cold could be it's just a cold. If your nose is running, that doesn't mean that you have the current virus that's going around.
Right. And I think that it's important to go back to your public health and figure out what you're supposed to do. So don't leave the house. Don't run to the ER, because right now for people who are not in extreme situations like the elderly or people whose immune systems are compromised already, 90% of it is being managed at home and being managed well, and people are overcoming it like a really bad flu. But you do need to be in contact with your area's health system because you need to know if any of that has changed and you need direction. But don't go running into public. Don't go running into the ER. You know, if you need to leave your house, make sure that you're wearing a mask and understand the difference between the two masks that I gave you before.
And if work is still open, if their place of employment is still happening and you're not feeling well, don't go in. Call in sick. Just take it easy and take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of anyone else later.
Right. So start with hydrating yourself with good soups, hydrating yourself with water. Make sure that you are eating anti-inflammatory foods. Follow directions on how to keep your temperature down. If you have any lung issues and you do have the redox at home, you can nebulize with it. You could breathe it in, get it straight into the lungs. Try to find somebody who could bring your groceries to you or order it online. All the normal things that you would do for somebody who you love tremendously in the time that they have the flu is something that you need to be doing for yourself right now.
And a lot of people are afraid to do that. They don't want to take care of themselves first, but in a lot of cases we need to. And at the end of the day, you need to start listening to your body a little bit more and understanding what you need as a person to be able to be a person and be able to help other people. So that's really important. So we talked about 6 different things to help people boost their immunity. If you want to get on the phone with us and we can help you get through some of this, just send us an email like we mentioned before. It'll be in the show notes at planttrainers.com/348. We're here to help you. We want to help you. So don't hesitate in contacting us either through our DM on Instagram at Plant Trainers or through the email that we mentioned. We wish you all much health to you and your family. Take care of yourselves. Be well. We're all going to get through this together.
Thank you all so much for listening to this edition of the Plant Trainers podcast. We want to make sure that you subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, or any other podcasting platform.
We really appreciate the feedback we receive from you every time we get a 5-star rating or review on iTunes from one of our fans. It really helps other people find us just like you did.
Thanks so much to our patrons. To become a patron, visit us at patreon.com/planttrainers. Even supporting us with $1 really makes a difference in the quality of the show.
And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram and Twitter. Our handle is @PlantTrainers. Like Plant Trainers on Facebook, join our newsletter, and check out our website at planttrainers.com for awesome recipes, a list of our services, and of course, our latest podcast.
We encourage you to email your questions to info@planttrainers.com so that we can help you improve your quality of life through nutrition and fitness.
So we hope we've inspired you today. Join us again next time and have a healthy day. Or is that too corny?
It's a little cheesy.